Hey, how is everybody?
Hi.
Everybody good?
Good afternoon.
Oh, I miss everybody. I don't miss Amy quite as
I was
much.
going to say I miss everybody except for Gloria. Even though that's not true, I miss you so much already.
Aww.
Yeah.
Well, since y'all were on an eat-a-thon, it's a good thing we separated you.
Oh my gosh. If we
I think that's too dangerous, you two together.
You are right.
We do have to talk about our week, but who are we?
We're on the RAGS, of course.
Why?
Because
Risa.
Amy.
Gloria.
Sloan.
That's why we're on the RAGS.
Yeah, let's talk about our week because I think we've all had a pretty busy week. So, Gloria and Amy, you guys were just
had
together.
Slumber party.
Full-on slumber party. A 48-hour party.
Eat-a-thon.
Eat-a-thon extravaganza. I mean...
And made our husbands.
We should have done a weigh-in for you guys and a way out.
Oh my God, I'm
No
so glad
thanks.
we didn't.
Tell us why you went to Las Vegas.
We went to Las Vegas because we went to the Crossroads grand opening of their new restaurant, which is at Resorts World. And it was so good and so fun. And we all saw people we haven't seen for ages. And which was really, it was kind of a special night.
Oh, yeah.
And we made our husbands dance.
I saw the video
I have to see that.
That was a once in a lifetime opportunity.
It was
really.
You have got to hold that forever, and it's going to be useful at another time.
All
I know.
of the stars had to
plan.
align to get Terry Butler and Fred Corey to do a TikTok. I mean, we had to strike while that iron was hot.
So funny. So funny.
Even Terry said it was the closest he's ever seen to me dancing in all these years.
Wow.
You figure.
And you've been together for how many years?
312.
Okay, good.
It's a long time to not dance.
That's my birthday, 312.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but we had the best weekend. And we went to some crazy buffet at Caesars. What's it? Baccarat? Or is that what it's called?
Something like that.
Oh, my God. I had a platter, a full, like a dessert tray platter that you would present to a table of 16 just for my personal dessert.
That's terrible.
It was
disgusting.
really gluttonous.
I mean,
and
not just
disgusting.
hers. It was all disgusting.
All of it. But so good.
Well, I was just going to tell you, first of all, it seemed like gluttony to me, which is a sin. Number two, there was an amazing, I'm going to send you both the article, all of you, in the Wall Street Journal yesterday about
how much we ate.
No, about the vegan restaurants coming to Vegas.
That's nice.
And about the launch of Crossroads in the Wall Street Journal yesterday.
Oh, great.
I love it.
Please send
Why
it.
haven't you sent it yet? You've had it
You know
since
what?
yesterday.
I know. I had it. Don't ask. I meant to. I'm sorry. It's shit.
Yeah, you are
It's
slacking.
terrible. I am.
But thanks for judging us. Yeah. Thank you.
I'm not judging.
You're welcome.
I'm not judging.
I needed a little
very
more.
Judgy that.
I know. I do wish you were there because we probably wouldn't have eaten quite as much.
Well, if you had seen my face when I saw those photos, that's what I do to Don as I'm watching him eat. So
You're definitely the most judgy of all of us. We once talked about this, but you definitely are.
I know. I thought I was the queen, but no.
And you know what? Unapologetic about it. I'll own that.
Obviously.
You know what else I didn't tell you? Sloan, over the weekend, I had 6, 7 Diet Cokes.
Oh,
I'm really upset about that. That's really bad, honey.
Oh, I felt so good, though. I felt so
Amy, are you
good.
bragging?
can I?
That's the tooth model. The tooth model is drinking crap.
I know, but it's so good. But there's no sugar. There's no sugar in Diet Coke.
No, it still eats. That
it's poison, but it's not sugar.
A neurotoxin.
Have you seen what it does to your car? Have you seen what it does to a corroded car battery?
Listen, you just flush with water, and then you run, and then you drink more water.
Risa's right.
Whatever.
No.
You know what? I gotta have a
Still
vice.
eats your teeth.
I went to New York this week. Because of the Top Gun press.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the talk shows that everybody on Top Gun did. But I hadn't been to New York in 4 years. I forget how much I love it. I really forget.
Same. I love it too.
Yeah, me too.
I know. And I didn't even feel like I spent enough time. And I know I told you this. You'd appreciate this. I even managed to fit in 20 minutes of shopping.
20 minutes.
I did some things in 20 minutes.
I know you can do damage quickly.
Yeah.
That's the good thing about Risa. Like I can spend all day and whatever, and she'll walk into a store and go, I love it. I'll take 2 of these, 2 of those, ship them here, ship them there. She is like,
and I'm
you
out.
Don't mess with her, and then she's done.
Done.
And she leaves us just all agape. Like,
No, but it wasn't. This could be a kudos, but I want to say it right now because, my client is doing an independent movie, and the production team are all women. The director is a woman also.
Yay.
And this main producer has been so tenacious, so on top of everything. She was there. She knew exactly when it was going to be late, got a car waiting for them to go to Shutter's Hotel in Santa Monica, got a car to take them to be tested. She's getting the flight. In my 40 years of doing this, I'm not sure that I've actually had a producer be this diligent and on top of her game.
great.
That's correct.
Who is it?
Awesome.
Her name is Molly Hallam, and she's a young woman.
Great.
It's crazy. I just want to give her kudos.
You know, I have to say all the jobs that I've been on that have most women production team are the smoothest, best jobs I've ever done.
It's crazy,
Go
right?
figure. Yes.
That's because they can multitask.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, something about it. It's just
And-
very smooth, easy. Everything's taken care of. Like,
And they take care of tiny details. We women will take care of the tiniest detail because to us it's as important as the big details.
Yeah.
Well, the devil is in the details.
Idle hands are the devil's playground, right?
That's right.
the devil went down to Georgia. I don't know.
That's a song, right? Is that a song?
Well, yeah. He was looking for a soul to steal.
In Georgia?
Yeah, I
can't
guess
think of
so.
any devil stuff.
Is there only? Why did he want to go to Georgia only?
Well, he was in a bind. He was way behind. He was willing to make a deal.
My God. What else? What else?
Well, we have a very interesting guest today.
Oh yeah. Okay. So
Yeah?
you know that we have never done a two-parter. We had so much to talk about in part 1 with Ron Meyer that we need a part 2.
Needed it.
We needed it, which is going to be today.
And
Now,
we want it.
we wanted it.
Yes, we do.
Let
I
me just
want
tell.
it. I need it. Is that something?
Yeah, that's a song.
Okay.
Let me
Go on.
tell you about the incredible Ron Meyer again, if you don't know. He was born to immigrant parents who escaped Nazi Germany. He dropped out of high school. He joined the Marines at 17 years old, went on to become the head of creative artist agency with Mike Ovitz, and was one of the most powerful and respected agents in the entertainment business. He left the agency business and went to serve as the president and COO of Universal Studios, and later was promoted to vice chairman of NBC Universal. He is loved by all. I'm so proud to now introduce our friend, Ron Meyer.
Again.
Again.
Wait, what's your shirt? Is that a tattoo company?
No, tattoo companies send me shirts because once somebody wrote a story about me with tattoos.
I know you have a tattoo on your ankle. I saw it many, many years ago.
No, I'm covered in tattoos. You just didn't see me you only saw my ankle.
I heard
Are you
that
really?
too. I heard about tattoos too.
Oh,
I have
Gloria.
tattoos all over the place.
I did from Cynthia.
Okay, fine.
No, wait, you really do?
Cynthia.
Wait,
Yeah, Cynthia Strom.
Oh,
Wait
God,
a minute,
Cynthia
he
Strong.
was-
That's
oh,
50 years,
he was in the
50 years ago. 50 years ago, Cynthia Strong.
Well, did you have a tattoo 50 years ago? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I had the tattoo longer than that ago, but
See?
I'm covered in my chest and my back and all over the place.
Oh, but didn't you have a tattoo on your ankle from the Marines?
Tattoo on my ankle was when I was 12 years old. That's
Yeah,
from when I was 12.
are you serious? You were 12? Was that your first tattoo?
I had my first tattoo on my ankle. I had my one on my ankle, and I had on my shoulder, but I had
Wait,
but
show
I had,
us.
we're not on here yet.
Yeah, we
Oh,
are,
we're
and
on.
it's good.
We're on.
This is all good.
We're on?
Yeah, it's
No.
good. No, I just asked that question because it all sounds so good.
You don't.
I had a tattoo. My name was on my arm, and then when I went in the Marine Corps, I got out of boot camp, put a Marine Corps tattoo on, and I'm kind of loaded with them.
Do you have one that you wish you didn't have?
No, probably not. I mean, I got used to tattoos, so I don't have any. It's part of me. I mean, I wish a lot of things in life, but probably that's not one.
We haven't gotten there
Nice.
yet. We haven't gotten there,
No, no,
but we're going
I'm
to.
saying
We're gonna get there.
We're going to get
Totally
there.
saying
Okay.
that.
But
Wait.
I love tattoos. So you're not the kind of person that I would think.
Yes, he is.
I didn't know.
But he's told you he is.
Well, I know that he is. I am saying I wouldn't
Well,
have
I'm a
thought.
different. When I was younger, I boxed. I was in trouble. So
Yeah.
tattoos went along with it.
And so when was your last tattoo?
Oh, I don't tell anybody that.
Oh, okay.
Well, especially not her.
But if I were probably not my age, and if I were, not in somewhat of a squarehead world, even though I'm less in a squarehead world now, I'd probably be covered in them because I actually like them.
Me too.
I mean,
How much do you stereotype, Amy, to say, oh, you don't look like the person that I thought would be
No,
having
but
tattoos?
I just would think- but
Judgy. Don't be so judgy.
No, but just like he said, like it's a more, when you think studio executive suits or something. And
Well, wait,
I'm in a rock and roll
also-
world. I love
by the way,
Girls.
in my studio years, I didn't as readily admit it, although it followed me a long time. But once I'm not doing that anymore, I don't really care much. But I'm not going to cover myself in tattoos at my age. But I actually kind of like them, and I think they're beautiful, and I think people, I think they're kind of interesting on people.
Yeah, me too.
Some are not good, but I like them.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've never asked anybody back for part 2 except for you. Because
I'm
we
flattered.
really
It's
feel like
true.
we cut it short, what we wanted to
Okay,
talk
good.
about.
Well, I'm honored.
Because you can see that we like to talk. And we want you, instead of just hearing,
Already it's worth it.
there's
By
one
the way,
cool.
me too. My mouth is bigger than my brain. I told you. So
That's
go ahead.
excellent. That's perfect for this whole thing. But there's 2 things that we didn't get to that we wanted to, and it's past the news now. But when Will Smith slapped Chris Rock on the Academy Awards, when you were the head of an agency, how would you have handled that? What would you have done with him as a client?
Boy, it's a real tough one because I have to say I've known Will for many, many years. I know Chris Rock for many years. I admire and like them both a lot. I mean, it was so out of character for Will. I actually, from my perspective, I thought it was a punk ass thing to do. If Mike Tyson was on stage, he wouldn't have done it.
Right.
He wouldn't have. I mean, and Chris Rock, handled it perfectly. I mean, frankly, if he'd done it to me, I would have gone after him. I would have gone in the audience and beat the shit out of him.
Right.
So it's hard to answer it properly because it was so out of character, I think, for Will, and I don't get it. I'm a believer in Don Rickles. I mean, who could have been worse at degrading people than Don Rickles? But it was done with a certain sense of humor, and certainly Chris Rock didn't mean to denigrate
Jada.
Will or Jada or anything. So I don't know honestly, I wish I had a good answer to it. It's a real damage control situation. I mean, Will be fine. By the way, he deserved the Academy Award.
Yeah, you did.
He didn't deserve a standing ovation, but I think that was a weird, spontaneous act. And he deserves to be in the doghouse for a while. He didn't deserve to get away with it. I mean, he got away with it. He got away with it. And so he'll get away with it. He's a big star. He's a talented guy. People forgive him. He didn't do anything that should end his career. He's not Harvey Weinstein. He just did a punk ass chicken shit thing. He acted like he owned that stage. And I was disappointed, not that I'm disappointed in him, but I was disappointed as a fan, as an audience member. He yelling from the audience, from the seats, jumping up on the stage. He didn't own the fucking place. I mean, I thought it was just it pissed me off in every way. I thought it was a chicken shit thing, a chicken shit move, and everybody gathering around him afterwards to console him. And
Disgusting.
He did a punk move, and he deserves to be in the doghouse for it.
Would you have let him go from CAA if you were still the head of CAA?
No, I would not.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't have. I mean, look, he's a gigantically talented,
Yes, he is.
important client, and you all have to kind of weather the storm. Did he commit a crime? I don't know. Did he commit a crime? Probably not. He did he was way out of line. He was just way out of line. By the way, we all do stupid stuff. I'm first on the list.
We'll
we all
get
do
there.
things we wish we hadn't done, and so you look back and say, God, did I say that or do that or whatever? So he just did it publicly and spontaneously, and he's a good guy. I mean, he's not a bad guy. He's a decent guy, and he just fucked up.
Sloan has a really interesting question to ask you. Sloan?
I do?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was just thinking about today and that you've seen everything. I mean, you are a guy who's been in Hollywood so long and knows everybody. I was talking to Risa about the offer, I guess, yesterday, and I know you were too young then to be on set, but you know all those guys. You know everything, and what I was wondering with how many celebrities you've had to bail out of the depths of, I'm sure, hell.
Oh,
all kinds of shit that you've seen. I can't think of a better word than that. I wish I could, but without naming names, what depth did you have
you
to?
Can name names.
No, I wouldn't. But
he would.
I mean,
He's a classy gentleman. I mean,
saying
that's
give me too much.
What was the worst thing you had to do, if you can tell us, sir? What was the craziest Hollywood tale of tales of one of your clients? Or
oh God, I mean, none of them. It's when we screw up, it's always crazy. So I've had a lot of strange situations, but and it's not really me bailing them out. It gives me too much credit, but I was in the mix of stuff of people, getting in trouble and trying to help them extricate themselves. Risa probably had similar experiences. I think it's, smart people do stupid things. Forget what stupid people do.
Yeah.
Good and smart people do really stupid things, and they get in trouble. I mean, I had, many, many years ago, I remember I had a client who had to be back in LA to do a TV series and was caught with cocaine in their possession and got detained in, I won't tell what country because someone will figure out who it was, but it got detained in a foreign country and went to jail actually for a little period of time. You guys are all too young to know, but I wouldn't want to say a name because I like the person very much. No. But and it required to get that person out of jail to, and I was a young agent at the time, to get that person out of jail to be able to report to the studio required for those days. I mean, this is probably 40 years ago, needed, I forget, $100,000, which, in those days, maybe 45 years ago, no one had handy. It wasn't like, say, oh yeah, write a check for $100,000. No one had that. People didn't have that kind of money in those days, even if you had money. I certainly didn't have it. And they wanted me to call they called me, the manager called me and said, you have to call the head of the network to get the money. And he called me in the middle of the night. Not only did I not know have the number of the head of the network, I didn't know the head of the network. I mean, I was a young agent and I had to pretend that I was spending the whole night trying to reach the person and couldn't reach him because I was so in over my head trying to do it. So I'm probably more wrong than the client was, but I've had stuff like that happen to me many, many times in my life. I had to fake it in order to not lose the client and not, let him know that I didn't know the head of the network and know how to reach him. And probably at those times I have the courage to call the head of the network at 3 a.m. and say, my client, your star, is in jail.
Did he get out of jail eventually?
He's still there.
No. But this is years ago. He went to jail for a period of time for, I forget, 10 months or so.
What'd they do with the show?
Canceled it.
That's horrible.
So did you drop that client?
No.
You didn't?
No, he's
No, I'm
Because
not.
no.
If somebody committed a crime against somebody,
Right.
a real crime against somebody, I probably would then,
A Chappaquiddick kind of crime.
Chappaquiddick, yeah, for sure. I mean, who could be more guilty than Kennedy
Oh,
in that horrible situation? Leaving that poor woman to drown. I mean, I can't even think about it, and how it was handled. But
Right.
no, but if someone did something to somebody, yes, I wouldn't tolerate somebody abusing somebody, and I probably, now, Will Smith probably falls into that category in some strange way, but I probably wouldn't continue representing somebody who committed a crime against somebody else.
that makes sense.
But committing a crime to yourself, against yourself, we're all, we're all guilty of that in some form or another, and probably deserve to be forgiven after you've paid the price.
Right, exactly.
And I kind of look at Will Smith, by the way, just to go back to that, in that category. He didn't commit a crime to Chris. He committed a crime against himself.
Yes, he
He
did.
didn't hurt Chris. Someone said for a guy who played Muhammad Ali, that was kind of a sissy slap. That wasn't much of a punch. I mean, so he just embarrassed himself. Chris was fine.
Actually, it enhanced Chris's
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Visibility, yeah.
But that was not the intent of it.
Right.
And Chris handled it so well, and it was such a weak slap. It wasn't like he knocked him over.
So you were talking about some of your role models, but I wanted to talk about Sue Mangers, who was somebody you cared about, who I deeply cared about. Sue,
Yeah.
do you remember that I had a dinner party at my house, and you and Kelly, I was there, David Duchovny was there, Tony Howard and David Yarnell were there, and Sue was invited, and you were supposed to pick her up, and you got to my door, and I said to you, "Where's Sue?" And you're like, "Oh, I forgot to pick her up." And then, do you remember?
No, did I? I would have forgot her. Did
You
I?
did. You forgot.
It's possible.
I mean,
I
she lived.
don't think I would have forgotten her, but she probably would have said, "I'm not coming" or whatever. it is.
No, you went down the street. She lived down the street from me, so you went and picked her
I
up
don't
and brought her
remember.
back.
I remember doing it. I don't remember that. It'd be unlike me to do that, but it's possible. I'm sure I did. It just doesn't seem like something I would do. I'm more anal retentive than that. But
I do. I just had.
but I had great affection for Sue. She was a great character, and I mean, she stayed too long at the party, but not the party at your place, too long at the party.
Oh, I know what you're saying.
In the agency business, but she was really a trailblazer, and she was great. I mean, she was quite extraordinary when she was on her game. I mean, there was no one like her, and when she stopped, it was probably the right time to stop and not the right time to come back.
I agree. Well,
And I felt bad for that for her, because you never want to be that person, which we're all capable of being, where you probably didn't recognize when it was time to stop wearing your shirts unbuttoned too low and too much gold around your neck.
Listen, everybody tell me if that starts to happen to me. Just tell me.
I know, but you know what though? I am personally grateful for that, because when she came back, she moved me to California. So without her, I probably wouldn't have my son. I don't think.
Well, good. No, look, she was a great character. I had a great time with her, and I mean, she was sort of, I got to know her well, because when I was dating a client of hers many years ago, I got to really know her well, and I liked her very much.
I had lunch with Bodie Boatwright in New York last week, and
Did you?
And
I like Bodie too.
she had said
I
that
see Bodie every once in a while. I haven't talked to her lately, but I bump into her if I'm at something in New York, and Bodie will be at a play or something like that, and I'll see her. She's a terrific lady.
She said you called her when Sue passed away and said that Sue didn't love anybody more than her and Ally McGraw. That's what she said.
She did. Well, she loved the three people she really loved were Candy, Ally, and Bodie.
Isn't that wonderful? I mean, sad that she's gone, but yes.
I mean, but yeah, she was great. She was great.
Bodie's going to be 90. She's
Amazing.
still working.
Wow.
And I see him.
Wow.
Good for her. But look, by the way, Fred Spector
Oh, I know.
is about 88, and he's still one of the best agents in the business.
Yeah. Same with Tony
mean,
Howard.
Fred is-
She's whatever, 78, 76, 78. And she's at the height of her career.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
know.
Great.
I think it's
I love it.
fantastic.
So inspiring.
Okay, so the one thing that we did at the end of our last podcast, we were talking about Universal, and you were talking about how you loved it, you miss it, but there's some things you miss, but you left, and you had mentioned that it was under not the best circumstance.
It was what?
It was not under the best circumstances that you left.
Right.
Is that a subject you want to talk about? Would you talk about why you left?
Sure. I mean, it's not much of a secret. I mean, it's pretty, I think people just misunderstood what it was, but I had a 2-night dalliance, a better way to say it, with in my life of bad judgments. That was one of my bad judgments. And the woman that I did it with had, although I had been always separated from my wife, had sort of indicated that if I didn't, well, it's a long story because
blackmail.
Well, but I don't know it's blackmail. That's the wrong way to put it. What happened was that she had asked my advice about something, and I gave her different advice that she says I gave, but she ended up threatening to sue me and Universal if I didn't give her money because of the bad advice I gave her. I won't get into it because it involves other people and stuff, but and it's easy to read about it. But I didn't give her. She says I didn't give her the right advice, which is really not true. And the advice was sort of like, just I want to buy a Volkswagen. Do you like black or green? I said, oh, I like black. I mean, that would tantamount the advice I gave. So I settled with her because I didn't want to. I didn't give it a thought. I didn't want to hurt my ex-wife. I didn't want my kids to find out that I had done this, and the whole thing was embarrassing and seedy. So I made a settlement with her, and in that settlement, she'd had a boyfriend who called me always for advice. Always called me, and I tried to be helpful to him. He wasn't the first person I've done that with. I've done it with hundreds of people, tried to be helpful, but he was one of them. All of a sudden, I got a letter from him and his lawyer threatening to sue me for not giving him good advice, or whatever you want to call it. It was really such a bullshit scam. And then another boyfriend of hers came forward and said a similar thing. And by the way, I had never talked to this new boyfriend ever. And so I finally said, screw it, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to, go public. And I went to Universal and I said, I want you to know that I'm going to, go public with this entire episode of my life. I'm going to tell, my wife, I'm going to tell my kids, I'm going to go public with it because I don't want to be extorted by these people. And Universal decided to fire me because I did not tell them that I had settled a potential lawsuit that named them. I hope I'm saying this right, but that's exactly what happened. And it wasn't a Me Too situation. It wasn't anything other than that. And so you could see the rest is kind of public record, or all of that's public record. And so I went public with it. The FBI has investigated it. I mean, it's I was extorted, in my opinion. I didn't obviously pay these guys. By the way, the two guys asked for hundreds of millions of dollars, not,
the two boyfriends.
Millions. Yeah. The current boyfriend and the ex-boyfriend. It was an extraordinary situation. By the way, I'm not the only one they've done this to.
Right. No, I know.
But, look, people in today's litigious society, obviously everything came out. In today's, people can sue for anything they want to.
Oh, yeah.
And you're forced to have to defend it. By the way, in every courtroom in the world, everywhere, someone's lying and someone's telling the truth. Everybody's swearing on a stack of Bibles. So, it's so that's why I was fired.
But
by the way,
you fought that though, and you want, right? Didn't you?
No, I didn't. I didn't begrudge them firing me. The truth is, when you work for someone, as you guys know, people can do what they want. They just have to honor their contract. They don't have to like the way I dress or the way I look or the way I sound or the way I, act. They can fire me at will. You work for people. That's all they have. They have that right to do it. And so I don't begrudge that. I always knew that one day the job would end. I didn't like the way it ended. I thought it was undignified. I'd hoped that I would leave it a more memorable way, or less memorable way, I guess we'll call it. So that was a skinny there. It was not, and it was embarrassing because I was exposed without any notice to telling my kids and, my ex-wife and I felt bad that I hurt people that I loved. So that was losing my job. Yes. I always knew that this job wasn't mine to keep forever. I lasted longer than anybody ever expected.
And anybody ever has.
And I said, I loved doing the job. I mean, I loved having the job. I just didn't like doing it anymore. I mean, it wasn't that. It just wasn't fun anymore. It was just, things had changed, and I liked the Comcast people. They were good people, but I had done the job. It was just great having it. When you live in a company town, you have that job. Everybody says yes to you.
Right.
And I just came back. I just got back from Cannes, the festival a couple of days ago, and I said to everybody, in my old life, when I would go to Cannes, everybody would lift me and carry me all over the place. In this last trip, I'm the lifter. I'm carrying everybody. So that was the difference in having the job and not having it.
Do you think that if you didn't go through all of that you would still be there at that
sure.
job?
Sure.
But
I would never have left on my own. It was a great gig. And so it turned out fine. By the way, I'm having probably more fun now and in many ways a better life than I had. More interesting than ever before. I'm doing 2 situations. I think I told you before, with the Qataris and with Wild Bunch. Oh no, it's great. I mean, I'm rarely out of sweatpants or shorts, and I'm not having a bad time at all. I'm not sure I could go back to a squarehead job again. I couldn't go back to a squarehead.
Who needs the stress, right?
Well, it's different. I used to say when I was an agent, I had 24 hours and 7 days a week of anxiety.
But
and as a studio executive, I had 5 days a week, 12 hours a day of pressure. Much better to have pressure than anxiety.
Yeah.
So as an agent, you always have, as Risa knows, you're never out of anxiety. It's, you never know where you are with a client, no matter how much they love you and how much you love them. You're always a little bit on tilt. Yeah. So I would have stayed in the job because I liked the people and I loved the place and I felt it was a part of my life. I mean, it's not anymore, and I'm over it. But but it was certainly an integral part of my life, and I don't want to pretend that it wasn't. So, but yeah, if they hadn't let me go, they would have had to carry me out.
Yeah.
Where I just can't even imagine. Where is that woman now? Do you know? Do you ever?
Yes.
Oh, you do know?
Sure.
Where is she?
Yeah, they have this is an ongoing situation. This is not with everybody. Oh no, this is an ongoing situation. I'm lawyered up and no, it's a mess. I mean.
Oh, I thought it was finished.
I'm a believer that the right thing will take place and justice will prevail. But I can't sue them. They're suing me. Oh no. They eventually find lawyers. You find ambulance chasing lawyers who are willing to take pro bono cases on the outside chance that we'll settle or do something. Who knows? Oh yeah. No.
How long do you expect this?
Who has money as a target? I mean, that's just that's not just Hollywood. That's everything.
I created the problem. So if I had been pure and done everything the way one is supposed to do in life, then I wouldn't have this problem. So that's life. It goes with the territory. I've taken other chances in my life and got away with them, whatever the chances were. Mm-hmm. So sometimes you get caught, sometimes you don't get, you escape.
Does that
Ron, even if you hadn't done anything, people can sue you. I mean, it's like you said.
Yeah, you have to defend
his word against his or hers.
You hope that the right judge in the right situation dismisses it, but I'm in it, and it's expensive and time consuming, and but look, it is what it is. What's
more stressful, going through this or being an agent? I want to know levels of anxiety and what's worse.
No. This is not. I don't like this, but this is not stressful for me.
Oh, good. Good.
No, wow. I don't let things like this get to me.
Right.
And even as an agent, by the way, I mean, I joke about it, but you're on call 7 days a week, 24 hours a day.
Oh yeah.
And if you're doing your job right, as Risa knows well, when you do your job right, you sleep with one eye open. You're a gunslinger. Someone's always out to get you, whether it's your client or a competitive agent or somebody else, whatever it might be. If you really do your job right, you never rest. I never went on a vacation when I was an agent that I couldn't be in touch with clients, even before there was cell phones and stuff like that. I mean, I never wanted my clients to know they could get along too well without me.
Right.
And who can you trust, by the way, in the business? I mean, get a dog, right? There's nobody.
What?
Well, I don't know. Look, I don't think it's that dog-eat-dog business, but it's a competitive business. And listen, CAA, when we started, we created the sort of agent wars, as they call them. So we got what we created. It was a much more gentlewoman business when I was working at the Morris office, and when at Paul Kohner, people were much more thoughtful of each other, and clients sort of stayed with their agents, and people worked very well together. And when we went to business, people were out to get us, so we went out and got them.
Oh, it's your fault that I was on edge all the time.
Unfortunately, yes, we created our own anxiety.
But tell me what is the quality that you have or have to have, or what do you do to manage this high level of pressure throughout a life? So to be at that level throughout your whole life and be such a groundbreaker and do this agency, and then you go through then you're running a studio, and then you go through like massive personal stress. To me, even just hearing about it, my cortisol is like rising and falling.
Oh,
right?
God.
I mean, it's just, how do you do that?
Everybody has their own thing. You know what? I really am a bit of an optimist. I think every problem has a solution.
Yeah.
And I really do believe that within almost every situation, including some health situations, you can fix them.
Yeah.
There's always a solution. There's always, we're all going to be gone one day anyway, but there's always a solution. And I think, listen, life's an amazing thing. I think it's just great. I feel lucky that you guys think I know what I'm talking about. That I'm even having these conversations. Seriously, I mean, I never imagined in my wildest dreams, that I'd be in this situation, and the good part of it. And it is mostly good. None of it so bad. How bad can it be? I'm above ground, and
right.
I'm enjoying my life. I eat good food and sleep in a comfortable bed, and I think this is all kind of a miracle. I really do. I mean, that sounds corny,
I love it.
I think it's this is, how bad can it be? There are days that things are fucked, but overall you get through them. Every problem is fixable. Everything is fixable in one way or another. May not be a great solution, but there's a solution. There's an end to almost every problem of some kind.
See, we always think that people will listen to us and they'll listen to our guests and learn something. That's why it was important to have you on and come back to. No, it's true. It's not even about what your knowledge. It's about your experience that people can learn from.
That was one of the most beautiful sound bites I've ever heard.
Which one?
That whole thing that he just said about there is a solution to every problem. Right. It may not be the best.
I've always thought that things are, I've lived my life in a very basic way. I mean, I told the best truth that I could tell. I treated people almost always the way I wanted to be treated. I did everything I said I would do. If I would say to somebody, I'm going to do something, no matter what a pain in the ass it is, I would do it. And I always would say to people, don't mistake kindness for weakness, starting with me, but with anybody. Don't mistake that somebody's a good person for being a weak person.
Yeah.
They're basics. I mean, not,
it isn't basic. There's very few men that do what they say they're going to do. So that's a huge.
But by the way, I agree with you, and that's why I got successful, because I did the basics.
Right.
Everybody was smart. I think I said in the earlier thing, everybody was smarter than me, and I meant that. I was never the smartest person in the room, or the most likely to succeed. I was the least likely to succeed, but I did the basics, and in the short run, the basics don't get you very far. In the long run, if you're going to stick around, they're everything.
Yeah, I believe that. I get that.
That's a quality that Risa has also, which I was surprised by when we first became friends, is that you would get emails or calls from people that were truly out of the blue. You don't know them, and you would call everybody back.
Ron
returned
did that.
every single email. I know, and I think that
Well,
people
Risa,
could learn a lot
I always
from that.
admired Risa. I knew she was like that. Risa was amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
it was the same way. But, I always used to say about agents, it's a funny thing. There's probably more than you want to have on your podcast. But,
No, it's not.
in the world of agents, which Risa and I both did for most of our lives, or the really big part of our lives. And Risa was one of the people I really always admired. Before we even knew each other, I knew her client list, and I really always admired her as a person and the way she represented her clients. In the scale of a shitty agent and a great agent, it should be a scale of 1 to 1,000. The shitty agent should be at 1, and the great agent should be at 99999.
Right.
In a client's mind, the shitty agent's at 3 and the great agent's at 5. That's the problem. People don't know the difference. They really don't. I always amazed at clients that would be with bad agents. And I'd say, what could make them be with this person, man or woman, who can't find their ass with both hands? And it would
Desperation.
when
they know
Any better, maybe.
when they know the
Pardon?
difference, when they leave you and they go to somebody else.
Right.
That's
by the way, sometimes I agree with you, but sometimes, not always. People don't get it, Anyway, that was my waxing.
No, that was good. No, but I still marvel at the fact that there's one woman, I'm sorry, I'm going back to it, that could do this to 2 very smart, powerful men. I just don't get it.
But I
just
think
don't.
more than that, right? Isn't it kind of more than 2 people?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
but by the way, so were we dumb? Yeah, we were dumb. We did it, and we were inappropriate, and we were dumb. So that's the price you pay for
Right.
So
our
many people.
wrong person,
But
wrong
it
judgment.
is amazing. It is amazing.
But
We
you're,
could have said no.
yeah, but
So
you're not
we
the
didn't,
you're not the first, and you're not going to be the last.
But
that
it
does
doesn't
things.
matter. But it's a personal thing.
Yeah.
And we both, he's a very good friend of mine. By the way, could we have said no? Yeah, we should have said no. So we did the.
She still could have said you did it.
Well, no, but we did. Yeah, we did the wrong thing with the wrong person. And look, there's a truth to it. I would tell the truth about all this. It just is what it is. Anyway,
That's thinking
That's-
with your dick.
yeah, you're right. By the way, yes,
It is.
you're right.
Whatever.
By the way, most guys are stupid. So I just happen to be in that
It's true.
category.
I think there's nothing better than just like, you learn from it, you admit it, you move forward.
Move on.
What are you
Yeah.
going to do?
Or you don't
What are you
learn,
going
or
to
you
do?
don't learn from it.
Or you don't.
Or you don't. There are people that have not learned from it. That's true.
Yeah,
Have you
very
learned
true.
from it or no?
Every day we're learning.
Of course.
Sure, of course. I'm a much better person because of it.
Yay.
Yeah, really.
You couldn't
And
be
the
a better
only thing-
person.
He only thinks with his brain now.
I got
The
so
only-
smart in my old age. How did that
You've
happen?
gotten
I don't
so
know.
wise.
Okay, you would appreciate this part. At the end of our podcast,
Wait a minute.
Oh, no. We're not there yet.
Sorry.
Reese, we wanted to hear what
I have a question.
All right, go.
Okay,
cut
my
that part out.
question
Cut.
is, my question is, if you had to redo your life all over again, what would you do differently? And you have to say at least one thing.
Well, the only thing that ever affected me negatively in my life, really affected me negatively, was gambling. So I gambled my entire life, but heavy duty, serious, compulsive gambling.
Oh.
And the only reason except had I not been a gambler, I'd probably still be selling shoes somewhere. So I'm serious, because I took
I get it.
risks because that was my personality. And obviously it's gotten me in trouble in what we were just talking about. So I have that in my nature somewhat, but I regret the few people I've hurt, ex-wives, not hurt them, but I would never physically, but things I've done to embarrass or make them feel bad or something, because they're good women and really good women and mothers of my children. I mean, so I feel bad for that, but I don't, whatever got me to this moment, I'm serious. It sounds so corny. It's a fucking miracle. So I can't, I look back and think, I once beat up a guy in front of his son.
Oh,
and
that's a good one.
And
that's a good one.
I've always felt bad about that. It was in a book. I told that, but I felt that was the most punk thing I've ever done.
Why'd you do that?
I regretted it.
How old were you? Why did you do that? What was the situation?
I was 16 years old, and I did it to impress a girl that I was dating.
Oh.
And the guy was a next door neighbor and had pushed her brother. And so I went to his house next door, knocked at the door. He answered the door with his son, and I beat the shit out of him. It was just, he was a big guy. It wasn't like he was a guy physically could have fought back, but it was I can't think of anything worse to do. I didn't mind that I beat the shit out of him. I think it was a cowardly thing for me to do in front of his kid. And if I could have found this man years later, I would have begged his forgiveness.
Did you get laid from it?
Of course. It wasn't that. At 16 years old, I'm not quite sure I knew quite what I was doing.
Oh.
I felt her up at least. Right.
Second base. Fine.
I love that.
Second base is worth it.
Okay, do you still gamble? I mean, I like to gamble. No, you don't. Oh, okay. No. That's good. But then you did learn something.
I'm not a monk. I've stopped many times in my life, so it's not like I've stopped. I've stopped many times in my life. But I started gambling when I was about 12 years old, pitching coins against the wall, and never looked back. So I've stopped. I don't gamble now. No.
All right,
so Ron, one thing all of us do every week is tell each other what we're watching. Any recommendations or anything that you think's great right now on any streaming or?
Yeah, I think Gaslit. I think with Julia Roberts.
We love that.
I'm watching.
It's pretty great. And Julia, I mean, they're both good. Sean is good, but Julia's really extraordinary in it. Really extraordinary.
So too.
So good. I love that.
And so, I know Risa has a long history with Julia, but but I love Julia personally, and she's always a good actress. I think she's particularly extraordinary as Martha Mitchell.
Me too.
I think that's tonight, right? Sunday nights.
Yeah,
to look forward to.
Yeah, me too. So yeah, but I'm watching a lot of stuff. I mean, there's a new show on called this is. I could get this for you. It's on Showtime. When we give you the right name.
Tell us.
It's called I Love That For You. It's on Showtime. And it's a very clever premise. It's about women on a what are those shows where they're selling stuff on TV?
Shopping Network.
Yeah. And the one woman says she has cancer, but she doesn't have it anymore. She had it when she was a young girl and has become a big fan favorite because she's selling everything like crazy. And it's alumni from Saturday Night Live.
Oh.
And it's a very clever show. It's very well acted. And it's a terrific show. It's only been like 3 or 4, now I think 4 episodes. I think they're all on now maybe, but there were 2 episodes and maybe now they've gotten to all 6 or something. But there's a lot of good stuff on TV.
A lot.
Better than most movies.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I was looking at my phone because I have a client, of course, 24/7. So such a long story, but for my Memorial weekend, the plane didn't take off from New York on time, so she couldn't get the connection to Australia. She has to start a movie, so now she's at Shutters, and you need to get into New Zealand. She needed a COVID test. And she did it on Friday, but now that's too late, so she has to be in a car to go get the test.
Oh my God.
You're stressing
Ron
me out.
knows. Ron knows.
Stressing me out.
So I had to look at my phone to see what's the matter. You're not in the car to go to get the COVID test.
I do know.
Okay, so you can explain Ragaris, and kudos to Ron.
Oh, at the end of our podcast, we do something called, because we're called On the Rags. So we do Ragaris, where we talk about things that might have driven us crazy. Like if you pull into a grocery store and you're waiting for a parking spot and somebody takes it, like that's a Ragari. But, and then kudos is just giving somebody some accolade for the week, somebody that did something great or something that you saw that was great. So that's what we do at the end of ours. So we're now going to ask you to do it with us. But somebody give
you go first.
Well, you go first.
a raggery. Okay, I'll give you a raggery
Ours
for me.
Risa.
For me, which is, I'm so tired of those people, you know, because of the shootings in Texas. And I'm so tired of those people that actually believe, they spew out, well, we're a country and we have for 200 years, we have the Second Amendment. And when people say that to me, I think the Second Amendment says that you have the right to bear arms to protect your home. So don't use that as an excuse. Like, there has got to be better gun control in our country and more laws. We have laws for everything else, for driving a car, for working in a hospital, whatever it is. We need better laws. Anyway, that when people use the Second Amendment, it makes my skin crawl. Sorry, that was my kudos. I mean, that was my raggery.
That's your raggery.
Yeah.
That was for sure a raggery.
Go ahead. Somebody else give one.
All right. Well, my raggery was more shallow.
Go ahead. Give it.
I ate too much at the buffet this weekend in Vegas. That's it.
Gloria.
What'd you go to Vegas for? There must have been a reason to go.
Yes. So we went for and Gloria's there. So we went for the Crossroads restaurant opening.
Oh, really?
They opened in Resorts World, which is like a new.
For Steve Bing's old Crossroads?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
All vegan restaurant. So we went, but of course we had to hit some buffets and I mean.
Gloria's husband is a hardcore vegan.
Yeah.
Gloria's husband, let me just say
whole
this. Her husband is vegan, complete vegan, doesn't curse, doesn't like crudeness, and he's the bass player in Black Sabbath. Now you figure that out.
Wow. That's interesting. Well, good for him.
Good complexity.
By the way, that's like our mutual friend Cher, who everybody would assume has done drugs, who's never done drugs in her life.
Right, exactly. You think that she's a druggie?
Doesn't drink or do drugs ever. Hasn't smoked a joint, you know. So, you know, it's. I mean, you know, you would shock the world if they heard that.
Exactly.
Buddy.
Exactly. All right, Gloria, you must have a
Okay,
raggery.
my raggery
I'm sure.
is always my raggery, besides how much Amy made me eat all weekend, my raggery is how do 19 policemen stay outside? And it was 19 for an hour. How does that happen?
It's too extraordinary. Well, you can't even, that's not even, I mean, that's beyond anything.
It's beyond.
I mean, you can't even, the whole thing is so unimaginable that it can't, you know, it's so horrible. I mean, I saw I get 5 hard newspapers every morning. I mean, I like real papers as opposed to seeing it online. And 2 days ago, every newspaper had a picture of those children.
Those children
on the cover. I mean, it made you weep. You know, you just can't
Yes,
imagine
it does.
the lives that are, forget the sad story about those kids, the lives that are destroyed, the hundreds of people connected, parents and grandparents and
Other children that were there.
And the kids in school and the kids who died. And I mean, the chain events, it's so horrible. You can't even think about it. I mean, it's just.
Okay, then I'll go back to the raggery of just how much Amy made me eat for 2 days. That's my raggery then. We'll skip the other one. Your turn, Sloan.
Okay, my raggery is similar, but I am in the not so great state of Texas right now. So Greg Abbott.
I wouldn't admit that.
I am embarrassed to say. Greg Abbott, Ted Cruz, 214 mass shootings in the country before June 1st, 27 school shootings, and 50 senators holding on to power for power's sake. Anyway, that's my raggery. And the fact that it's legal to sell AR-15s if you're 18.
By the way, of course, you're all
and the
right.
NRA. Yeah, sorry.
Of course, you're 100% right. But here's the other thing I have learned. You know, you can't. We're not going to change it. Not in our lifetime. Forget what we'd like to see happen.
But we got to try, Ron.
Of course, you have to try. I'm not suggesting you not try. But I'm saying the sad part is that our politicians all suck. I'm a Democrat hating most Democrats.
Right,
not a
me
Republican, but I'm certainly a right-wing Democrat. I won't go on too much because I'm ruining my career
Me
here.
too, me too.
But we're all with you.
But it's a horrible time, and I'm not sure what we do it because good people won't be able to pass muster. You can't, you're not going to be able. They can't get through the scrutiny of the press, ragging them and pointing out every mistake they've ever made. So you end up with mediocre people on both sides, right. Republicans and Democrats, running for office. I mean, the quality of our politicians.
But we're the only country in the world that has this issue.
Yeah, you're right.
Everybody else has changed their laws. So
yes.
Anyway, your turn, Ron. Your turn.
But you can give a shallow one. Don't worry.
You can give a shallow one.
So I'll give you a shallow one because otherwise I'm going to talk about homeless. And,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We should be more shallow.
We need
to be more shallow.
I'll talk about the criminal system in the state and the problems we have. I can't bear going to a restaurant and having a waiter or waitress who has to work for tips, not writing down the order. And then when the order comes back, it's wrong. And somehow or another, it's your fault. And they, the minute someone's not writing down this order for 4 people in a thing, they're going to fuck it up.
You know it.
It makes me crazy. It shows me the work ethic in this country is a mess. Except that it's the one thing I go back to again, my philosophy. I tell all my kids the same thing. You don't have to be the best. You just have to do it right. Yes. Doing it right is better than most people do it.
Yeah.
Yes. So true.
I always say this. I always say that 80% of the people in any workforce do a mediocre job. Only 20% do a good job.
Yeah,
that's what I think.
True. It's true.
Girls, can we just take note? That's what a raggery is.
Yeah, that is. That's absolutely.
That is the level of raggery that we should all refocus.
And it happens endlessly. By the way, happens in every country.
Yeah. True.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, but they do it better in the United States.
Okay, now
they write it down less. They write listen, all the special things. No ice in this drink, another thing here. They say, sure. They come back and it's all fucked up.
Yeah.
And then a lot of other countries take
pride in being a waiter.
Pride, yes, and being a waitress.
By the way, I did it. I was a waiter. I got it right. I wrote it down. I write everything down.
I was a bartender.
Ridiculous.
I wasn't a waiter.
It's so weird. I still can't get over it.
I was a non-drinking bartender.
But you still know how to make drinks?
Uh-huh. I took a bartending course at Harvard.
You need to bartend sometime at my house.
No kidding.
It's been a long time.
Sloan hired her for 4th of July.
Okay, so now we have to do kudos, which is giving somebody. Go ahead, give a kudo.
Well, my kudos was going to be Gloria Butler for being the best host and we had so much fun this weekend. I mean, every little bit of it was wonderful and all the dogs got along and everything was great. But I'm going to share it now. And my kudos is that Ron Meyer is covered in tattoos.
What?
You're
covered in tattoos.
That's a kudos? Okay.
Yeah. It is for me. It is for me. Okay.
Maybe I have kudos. I actually didn't say it yet, but my kudos was that it was so cool to see Zelensky give the commencement speech at Stanford University graduation. I thought that was brilliant.
Pretty cool.
Right.
It is amazing. Okay. He is an amazing man.
Yeah.
Yeah, very.
And also,
he's certainly risen to the occasion. It's hard not to admire his leadership. I think he's done a great job of, doing what he's supposed to do. I mean, I don't mean to take it away from him, but he's done a great job of doing just what he's supposed to do.
If all countries had such a leader, really.
Yeah.
In a proportionate circumstance.
He rose. He made the very best of a bad situation. He's done the right thing and been a great citizen for the country. And you can't help but admire what he did.
Amazing.
But he really did. He rose to the occasion. I don't know enough about him.
I don't know.
But
he was a stand-up comedian. I mean,
I know that. That I know. But he rose to the occasion. I mean, I always use, unfortunately, then I go back to Rudy Giuliani, who during 9/11, everybody thought
He was a hero.
And by the way, during his time as the district attorney of New York, he really fought the mafia. He wasn't afraid. He rose to the occasion. I love it.
Yeah.
He just turns out to be a fucking babbling fool.
The worst.
You know, I mean, so who thought that? That's the only reason I say that. You know, who knew where the real Rudy Giuliani is? Once, where was that? Where's this great man? What happened to that?
Right.
This
What
once great
happened?
man?
Something happened though. He unraveled. I don't think he was that crazy then, right? That had to be some kind of.
Well, you know, you always remember, although it's a bad example. I remember when he was making that speech, and his son was, you know,
Oh, yes.
8 years old or 9 years old, dancing around the podium. You know, I mean, it was cute and it was weird. You know, but it's all. You think about all of that.
Yeah.
Kind of. I don't know. I don't know him at all, by the way. But I admired him for 20 minutes and have disliked him for 2 hours.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
So
true. So did everybody.
Same.
Gloria, do you have a kudos?
Oh, my kudos will have to go to Amy for getting my husband to almost kind of dance. So, because that was definitely a tremendous feat.
You have to
I
see.
must say.
Yeah.
They put it on.
We
Not
got
that Amy
Geezer
did.
Butler and my husband to do a TikTok. And let me tell you, hell hath frozen over because that would never happen, but it happened.
You'd have to know them to
Thank
understand.
you, Amy. My husband's the shyest, most reclusive person ever. And yeah, he kind of danced.
He did.
Kind
He
of.
did. He did.
He did.
He did. He danced.
So that's it. Kudos, Amy.
Thanks.
Sloan.
Okay. My kudos goes to Steve Kerr.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
Kimmel.
That
me
was
too.
good.
I thought Jimmy did an unbelievable monologue the other night, and Steve Kerr before the game the other night. Two people that really use their voices in the right way.
And the Yankees organization.
What?
Right? The Yankees organization did the same sort of, instead
Well,
of,
I saw Steve and Jimmy.
Yeah.
okay.
Those are my kudos.
Okay. So,
Okay.
Ron, you could be more shallow about yours also.
well, I'm so shallow because I didn't even know I was going to be asked this question. So I keep thinking, what did I read this morning? Is there somebody who did some
It
wonderful
could be
thing
somebody
the
in
world?
your life that did something really nice, like somebody.
I will tell you what's interesting. I saw Top Gun last night.
Oh, I was going to bring it up, but go ahead.
And I will tell you, and Tom was my client forever, and a friend has always been a friend of mine. And he did what a movie star is supposed to do. He went out and really forget how good he is in the movie and how the movie works in every way and all that. He went out and did what a movie star gets paid to do. He went out and sold the shit out of that movie.
Oh my
He
God.
went everywhere. He did everything. He does a little announcement at the beginning of the movie where he talks about his thanks for coming to the theater and we want to entertain you. You know what? It's in a business that is as tough as this is. He shows up. He's always shown up, by the way. No one works harder than Tom Cruise ever and does it more beautifully. So, you know, I admired that. I have to give him kudos for it. I sent him a note last night and I just said, good for you. He just, I don't think people will go back to the theaters the way we all think they're going to go back. But let's all believe it for the moment. And certainly he found a way to do it. It's successful, deserves it. And he went out and sold it. He was in Cannes. He's the perfect movie star.
Right.
It's the biggest opening
perfect
he's ever
movie star.
had, though, Ron. It's his biggest opening.
Yeah.
Did you like
it deserves it. By the way, it deserves it. It delivers
great movie.
in every way. I can be cynical about everybody's movie. It delivers in every way you want it to. And he did it. He did it. He just goes out and sells it. And, he's what, if in the world of movie stars, if that's what it is, he's a movie star. He does what he's supposed to do. There's nothing precious about where he'll go and how he'll do it and what he'll do. He's great.
And he plays the part, arriving in a helicopter.
He does it. He's Tom Cruise all the time, but it's what he's supposed to do. No one has to. His private life is his private life, and when the public sees him, he is Tom Cruise, the movie star, and that's what they want to see, and he does it perfectly.
Can we give some kudos to Jennifer Connelly in the movie?
Oh,
Yes.
I love Jennifer.
Kudos to
Jennifer's
Jennifer.
delicious. She's always fabulous. I mean, listen, we had Jennifer in Beautiful Mind, as you know. Oh no, she's great. But I'm just saying. But Tom is the.
Oh yeah.
He's the real deal.
He's a
He
real,
walks the walk. He walks the walk.
he's a bona fide movie star.
Yeah, he is. He does it just better than anybody. I mean, he's not a kid anymore. And, you know, other people are going to come along and have big, hot careers. But he's the real deal. And good for the business.
Good for the business. This is good for the business. So that's a really good note to end on, I think. But
Yes.
we so appreciate you coming back.
Oh, I'm honored.
So much.
Thank you,
I'm honored
Ron.
you guys would have me back. I hope I would, bored everybody.
This was more fun than part one was really interesting. This was more us talking.
This was more relaxed. This felt
Sure,
more
yeah,
relaxed, and it just
Sure, you
flowed
asked
well.
about my indiscretions, of course.
Of course. You know what? We all want to know those kinds of things. Of course we do.
I can't wait to find out what we learn in part 3.
Oh, God, don't
Come
worry.
on,
Don't worry.
I love seeing you guys. This is a great way to spend my day. Come get me anytime.
Thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.